All right. Hello, beautiful people. Mahatma here, and this is People of Interest. We have a great show today. I'm actually really excited about this one. With me is a very talented journalist who's profiled some powerful women, and we'll be discussing the Rising Women Initiative. This is in the build-up to the big events that are coming up. I know very little about it, so I'm excited to hear more about it from you. This is Lilian. Welcome. Please tell people a bit about yourself, and then we'll get right into it.
Okay, well, thank you. My name is Lilian Ndilwa. I am a journalist. I write for The Citizen, specifically in the features desk, and I've been writing for about a year and a half, I would say.
Yeah. How are you enjoying it so far?
I love writing.
Yeah,
I really love writing.
You seem to be, you've been meeting some pretty cool people.
Oh, that
job.
part,
Yeah.
actually, that's a part of the specs that I
Yeah, okay, well, all right, well, welcome. So let's get right into it. I want to keep this, I want you to break it down for me because I've been reading up on it, about this whole Rising Women Initiative, and I want to get your first-hand perspective. So, firstly, what is Rising Women? What's the idea behind it, and how did it get started?
Okay, so Rising Women specifically, it's an initiative which was developed by Mwananchi Communications Limited.
Right.
MCO last year. And when it developed, it was an idea that began in November 2020. That it came, I would say, coincidentally. They didn't like expect it to turn out the way that it did. So the main thing was that they meant to profile like the different women who are in the corporate, or rather who are in managerial positions, in different aspects.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what were the initial aims behind it? Did they just want to highlight that there are women in these powerful positions, or was it just to more see their story, how they got there, and things like that?
Actually, I'll say it's more of both, because they wanted to. It's more of like giving flowers to the people who deserve it. You know, you might see someone like, let's say for instance, let me give an example. There is this woman who goes by the name Miranda Naimani. She is the MD at Empower. It's a human resource firm. Now you see like a powerful woman like that. You just see her like you just know her. Okay, she's Miranda and all that. But the story behind her, like what made her the way she is right now, what makes her the way she is. Now we wanted to hear the stories, like, okay, what like her background, her education background, what motivates her, how did she get to that managerial position, you know? So it's not easy to just see someone and actually like guess what they've been through or what they're going through at that very moment. Okay. Yeah, so we wanted that.
Okay, so nice. Well, so on that note, what are some of the more remarkable stories that you heard? Some backgrounds. You don't have to drop any names, but I'm curious. Do you hear, because obviously sexism and some people they don't come up from wealthy families, but they still manage to rise to the top. What are some of the ones that you still remember that come to the back of your mind?
Okay, so there was this one of the women that I met. She grew up in this society where people in that very society believe that for a woman to actually like excel in life, they have to be married.
Right.
Now she did not want that for her. She did not want that for herself. So what she did actually, she was doing some stuff that even her parents did not understand at first.
Right.
But later on, I think they started to, like understanding after they started to see how the literal things that she was doing was actually becoming a little bit effective.
Right.
Yeah.
So what kind of things though? Because the parents obviously disapprove.
For instance, studying.
Studying.
Yeah.
Really?
In that society, they believed for a woman any to actually excel in life, you have to get married before you even study.
Right.
So I remember her parents kind of restricted her to go to higher levels of education, but later on, she did it eventually.
Okay.
Even without the approval of the parents.
Right, and then when she comes back with like a degree and...
She's like a whole big person right now, actually. Yeah, it was really...
Did she ever gain the acceptance of her family for doing that?
Or she did eventually, after they saw
okay, fair enough, you made it. So you said it's mostly women in like business sectors, right?
Not really business sectors.
But managerial
positions.
Right.
So...
is there... Do you think because this campaign you said was started at the end of 2020?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there was there's like a thought or a plan to like expand beyond to because rising women, the name itself, it it suggests that women are on the rise. Maybe some young adults who are studying for their masters at the age of 25, things like that. Have you thought about actually profiling some of these people, young people who are in like these crazy positions who have the same challenges like that? Do you think that's a nice way forward for it?
Yes, actually, the way that I think this year, even though we'll be focused on like the corporate part, because that's like the league is since it started out that way. But this time, the women that will be profiled, it doesn't matter the age actually.
Yeah.
So we'll go both ways, as long as it has to be someone in a managerial position.
Right.
So if it can be like if you've co-founded a company, like you own it with other people, but you were part of its very beginning, or if you have like a business that has made it out there, but you're part of it, like you're part of its growth since it began.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so but is there like a theme or a message to this, or what are you trying to raise specific issues? Maybe how women like the challenges they face. Is there like something that this campaign is looking to address in terms of issues with women in Tanzania and Africa and so on?
Specifically, this time I think it'll be like the same, I would say, because we're looking at how in our societies, like men and women, they're never like at the very same levels.
Right.
So what we're trying to do is showing that by highlighting these women who have made it out there, or who are making it as of now, we're trying to show the world and Tanzania that even women can do that.
Yeah.
So a child might be out there, and when they get to see, when they get to read, when they get to actually like, okay, so like these women have done it, even though they had all these kind of backgrounds, they faced like several challenges that would have stopped them, but they did it anyway. So we want Tanzania as a whole and Africa in general, or even the world, to see that women are no different than men actually. Yeah. Fair enough. So I think that's the whole thing.
Yeah, that's understandable. So as a woman on the rise yourself, personally, what are some of the challenges that you feel need to be addressed or need to be highlighted, and that you think that you're doing through this campaign of Rising Women? Are there any specific challenges that, obviously there's a lot we could talk about, but ideally, now we have this platform, we have this campaign. Is there anything that you think that is very systemic with women in Tanzania specifically that should probably get a better look at?
In our second edition of the Rising Woman, our theme is it's equality today for a sustainable tomorrow. Equality today for a sustainable tomorrow.
Oh, I thought you said equality to die.
Come on.
What? Die for a sustainable tomorrow.
No, equality today for a sustainable tomorrow.
Right.
As in, if we have to address this today, we're building even a better future.
Right.
And not only for women, no.
A more balanced society.
Yes.
As well. You can't just have complete discrepancies.
Like even we're making it in a way where the tomorrow's generation come to actually see the things that we're doing right now. We're trying to balance the situation right now so that later the future generations can actually like live even a more happier life, I would say.
Yeah, you mentioned that a lot of. I'm glad that you didn't mention any names with the lady who went to study, but obviously it was expected of her that you just find a man, get married and stuff like that. Do you think that as Tanzanians we differ in ambition between men and women? Obviously that's a very obvious answer, I think, but generally speaking, do you think from people in the village to the city or whatever, is there a sort of understanding of where everyone stays? Like, oh, the man, you gotta go do that, or the woman, you gotta do that. Do you think that's changing at all, or do you think we're very much stuck in that mold?
I would say it depends with the exposure that the person gets.
Right.
So, for instance, when one is stuck in one society, they have this stuck up mind, this mind that tells them, for you to make it in life, you have to either get married, or you have to be working under someone, or you have to be like under a man or something, like, you have to feel belittled all the time.
Right.
But when someone actually gets to meet different people, gets to read a lot, gets to see how other people live their lives, they get different kinds of ideas,
Yeah.
So I think that kind of exposure gives them a whole different aspect, different perspective of life generally. Yeah.
And do you think that exposure is it's happening quickly enough in Tanzania? Because it's obviously every day is slightly better in terms of we learn something new. But do you think people are just they're just used and stuck to their same routines and the same way of thinking about life that it's just going to take way longer here than in other countries, even around Africa?
I think it's that depends with, I'll say, technology advancement too. For instance, let me give you an example. There was this woman whose name I would not like to mention, who was also profiled during the last year's edition of Rising Woman. That woman was first a house help, but right now she owns an organization that helps like other house helps, who actually may have gone like to actually understand their rights.
Right.
The things that she went through, the thing when she talked to other house helps in her region, and then she realized she was not the only one going through all that.
Yeah. No.
I think that exposure, even though it took longer for her to actually like meet other people, to meet other house helps like from different houses, to actually understand she was not going through all that alone.
Right.
Made her understand there has to be either a body or an organization that would help them, so that another a future generation of households or some other people will not go through what they did. Yeah.
That's
so exposure. I think it's
yeah.
it's really
And
important.
if you see somebody who was in your position actually, make it out, it sort of gives you those ideas. So a lot of the times people, you are resigned to your own fate. If you feel some type of way, you think that's just how it always is.
That's how it always is.
Yeah. So has the company MCL, Mwananchi Communications, Love or something? I don't know what the L stands for. Limited. Has MCL coordinated with any non-affiliated groups, NGOs, to address some of these issues in the past year or so, or was it a strictly internal?
Like MCL thing? No, actually, if they usually say, if you want to actually like, make something bigger, you gotta have more hands.
Right.
You gotta cooperate with people. So what MCL did, they partnered with some NGOs.
Right. Which ones in particular?
Several, I'd say.
Okay.
Actually, as much as I don't remember them, but I remember some things.
Okay.
Yeah, there were different ones who actually partnered. They were the sponsors.
Yeah.
So what happened is, we actually, some of the sponsors, the people in those companies were profiled, and actually we got to meet them, and they were also involved even in the award giving, because there were people who were given awards during the last period.
Alright. What's the government response to this? Is there like an effort to get like national attention, or an effort from the company and the campaign to get some specific, tangible change? There's always, it's nice and all to have this platform, this campaign, but is there an effort to actually convert that into some legislation or into some national program?
I wouldn't know that.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't know that, but I think we're more focused on change.
Changing mindsets.
Yes, because we don't just write. That's the beauty of writing. You don't just write.
Yeah.
You write when you know it's going to make some impact out there.
Right.
So, we're writing about a person about either discouraged from like going after their dreams and all of it. You write because there is someone out there. They might be going through the very same thing. So we're more focused on change.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So on that note, what are some of the? Have you noticed any successes, small, big successes, since the launch of this initiative? Like maybe somebody told you in the street, like, oh, I didn't know.
No, we profiled about 59 women generally.
Wow.
During the whole month, it usually goes from 1st February to the very last day of March. I don't know which one will be this year, but it's usually like 2 months. It's a 2-month thing. Right. So I remember, first of all the journalists who did that, I'm sure they profiled, and I'm sure their own like portfolio kind of grew. we were able to network with people who we didn't even know like when we would do that. It just happened.
Yeah. Okay.
We kind of connected. Not only that, people started reaching out. Like, I've seen that profile. Can I also be profiled? I know this person who would make a really great profile. Can I give her number? It was actually, and I might have not mentioned this, but we also profiled some men. Like,
no, I read about that. No, but that's the thing. It's you can't.
It's a woman thing, but then we also there is something called he for she. Like yes, do you know what that means?
Well, no, I love those little names about men.
Yeah.
I forgot this other one, but it's like this is my favorite one, brother of the sisterhood. I like he for she. So what's he for she?
So usually we also looked into, or rather we were looking for different men in industries who have made some kind of efforts of trying to like balance like the men and women in the work arenas. For instance, we look at different organizations, like how their gender policies are and how they operate. So we'll find there are some companies who have like they have like all the stuff. You might find like there is like 60% it's women.
Yeah.
And then the 40 it's men. Or it's 50 men, 50 women. So when we looked at, there were people who were even found with about 80% it's women, like all the stuff it's women. So we would favor those kind of men. For instance, I remember some names. I think
And I read I think it was either it was in your article. You mentioned that the whole Rising Women idea, you started blending it into the daily content throughout the year, not just that 1 month. Not just those 2 months that you actually had the campaign. Did you personally just try to include these same types of sentiments in like your daily reporting and writing throughout the year?
I think so. During I might have not said it before, but Rising Women was actually it opened a whole new door for me.
Yeah.
I had just entered into this into journalism for the very first time, but then I was usually writing like normal news stories. So when Rising Women came up, I joined the team, and then I remember one day I followed my managing editor, and then I went and told him like I want to join the features desk.
Yeah.
It's like why?
Wait, it's called the what? The fishes.
The fishes.
You call it the fish? You said it earlier. I'm like, what did she just? Okay. No, wait, what is the fishes desk?
No, the fishes. It's features. Come
sorry.
on.
I'm sorry, Yamani. I'm dying here. My bad. Sorry, the whole dead now fishy.
Come on.
Sorry, okay. My apologies. I was getting excited. I thought it was like the cool team.
Like the cool team.
Yeah, like you guys are out there fishing
for. No, it's the fishes. The features desk.
Yeah. So are there any plans? Do you have any concrete plans for this year in terms of how you personally want to approach this campaign? What you might do differently, or what you want to add on? Maybe add your own. I'm trying to put some ideas in your head because I like this campaign, and I feel like an annual campaign. 2 months every year. Mine personally is. I always think that if you have this, an initiative where everyone's on board, it's always nice to try move that into one specific area of change. So are you thinking of it in that way, like this year, if I meet her maybe I'll try, anything like that going on in your mind?
I think this time, if you ask me honestly, we'll be going after unexpected women, I would say. There are names out there who are already known, they've made it. So people maybe, are they going to interview that woman? No, we're going for the unexpected ones. Right. And when I say the unexpected, it's beyond. It's we'll do in Dar es Salaam, of course, but we're also more focused even in the upcountry, in other regions.
Okay.
So we're going for every woman who has made it, who is making it, who has gone through everything that they have gone through to actually be where they are right now. Yeah. Be it in Dar es Salaam, be it in other regions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that one.
So am I.
So in the past year or so, have you personally, or just looking around you in the culture, society, have you noticed a slight shift in attitude and mentality, how people think of what is possible for a woman since, you see? since the president, Mama
Yeah.
Samia, came into office? Is there like a slight mood change, attitude shift in how men, especially, in places where it's not the big city, it's not, it's like if you get further away from a lot of people, you're just stuck with the one way of understanding the world. Have you noticed any slight shifts since then, or is it still more of the same?
I think I have.
Mm.
Well, right now people are starting to understand that we have a woman president, but we have, for instance, we have different ministers, different women in ministerial positions,
Right.
and we have a woman going after the speaker's position right now. So we just that actually.
It's enough.
It's not enough.
It's
It's never
right
enough.
there.
That's the beauty. It's never enough. We're actually going for every position right now, and actually, I'm excited.
Yeah.
People are starting to actually understand Komba. There's no difference than having a man and a woman at higher positions. For instance, like the presidential position.
All right.
It's more of a person actually. So
Yeah.
we're seeing like things Mama Samia has done since she started, since the very first time since she became the president.
Right.
We have seen how things have been going, and yeah.
How
so,
have things been going?
I'd like to keep my comment and mention on this, okay?
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
It's the opposite of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so finally, let's just wrap this up. And I told you we could go through all the questions. We'll go through them. So just try to be as, Actually, firstly, what are some of you mentioned Mama Samia, and do you have any personal female heroes, female Tanzanian heroes that, I don't know, that give you maybe like a journalist that you really admired from when you were young, a musician, somebody who you just liked their attitude and sort of inspired you?
Actually, I like someone who is, I'll say she just resigned recently. I wouldn't say she hasn't resigned. Zuhura Venus.
Right.
She used to work for BBC,
Yeah.
and she worked for Mwananchi once.
Okay.
Yeah, and she has recently released a book, and she was the writer. It's about this female who fought for independence in Zanzibar.
Yeah.
So I have seen her work, and I usually, since when I was young, actually, I've been admiring how she works.
Right.
Yeah, and growing up, I think not only have I been looking up at her, I've been looking up at her, and there is that her co-worker,
Yeah.
Salim Kikeke, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
And actually, they're part of what inspired me to be who I am right now.
You're tearing up right now. I can see it. Means a lot to you.
I know.
So,
yeah.
Lilian Ndilwa.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right?
Ndilwa.
Ndilwa.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here. People, where can they find your works? She's got a bunch of lovely articles. I had fun this past week going through them. Yeah.
Thank you.
So what? They just go on the Citizen, type you in.
They don't have to go to the Citizen. You can just Google like Lilian Ndilwa, and all my articles show up.
Okay.
Will show up, yeah.
Yeah. And we'll put some links obviously to make sure that once this goes up, people have a chance to see the kind of work you're doing. And yeah, appreciate you coming down here, talking about it, and I'm excited to see, this year's campaign. So
Am I?
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. That is People of Interest. Peace. Right. Nice, right? See, nice and sweet. Remember, I wanted to keep it sweet, Leo. We could have gone on forever, but you did well, man. You don't give yourself enough credit beforehand.